Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Diamond Chat, brought to you by Dr. Karen Kramer, your hometown dentist in Grafton and Elyria, and of course also sponsored by First Federal Savings of Lorraine. Each and every week here on Diamond Chat, we do our Teams of the Week, courtesy of First Federal. Tim Elkhorn with AM 930 WEOL, Sean Bennett with the Chronicle Telegram. Great to have you joining us this week on Diamond Chat. Sean, I jinxed it last week. I talked about all the great weather, and then, boy, the past week, it wasn't a complete washout, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, for one, it's Priebus. I don't think I've covered like 7 or 8 Priebuses, and it's been rain every time. So one of these years, we're going to have sunshine, maybe 60 degrees. I'd like to see it happen. Didn't happen this year. We had a whole day rained out, a whole rounded game. Some teams only got to play one game, but yeah, it's been a tough week, but let's bounce back. The weather's great right now. Let's knock on wood that it stays and we get some games in.
Hopefully better weather days are ahead. Well, there were some games that did get in, so let's talk about our top 3 performances this week.
Okay, well, let's start on the softball side, and I'll start right at the top with Stephanie Griffin from Elyria Catholic. We kind of remember her and her sister had a fun segment last year on Diamond Chat. During the Priebus Memorial, we kind of talked about Stephanie had played in 2 games, went 7 for 7 against Toledo, Notre Dame, and Clearview at the Priebus Memorial Tournament. 4 doubles, 6 runs scored. She was also the pitcher, picked up wins in both games. So great performance for her at the Priebus Memorial last weekend. Abby Voorhees of Amherst went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs in the Comets' 11-7 Southwestern Conference win over Midview last week. I believe that was on WEOL.
Had that game on AM 930. That was a power display by Abby.
So yeah, her name came out of your mouth a few times. So yes, Abby Voorhees of Amherst. Then finally, Lauren Rounds of Firelands, freshman at Firelands. A week or so ago, she hit 3 home runs in a game. This week she went 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored in the Falcons' 10-0 Patriot Athletic Conference win over Columbia. So another great performance, individual performance as well. So my 3 top performances this week: Stephanie Griffin of Elyria Catholic, Abby Voorhees of Amherst, and Lauren Rounds of Firelands.
All right, on the boys' side, as far as baseball is concerned, top 3 performances. We're going to start with Elyria High. Now, they weren't in all the rain. They were down in Myrtle Beach last week, so they got away from all the raindrops, and they got a big week out of Noah France. France for Elyria High, while they were in Myrtle Beach, hit .500. He had a .600 on-base percentage and an .833 slugging percentage while the Pioneers were in Myrtle Beach. Aside from that .500 batting average, 8 RBIs, he had a couple of doubles and a triple for Eddie Piazza's Elyria team. So a great week for Noah France of Elyria. Clearview's Avery Cruz had a nice week last week. The Clippers were able to get a couple of games in, and boy, Avery Cruz, he was hot at the plate. Avery Cruz for the Clippers, a .526 batting average last week. He went 10 for 19. He had 5 RBIs, 3 doubles, and oh yeah, he's that classic utility guy for Clearview. He plays center field, shortstop, second base, and he gets on the mound and he throws once in a while. So a busy week, but a very good week for Clearview's Avery Cruz. And our 3rd top performer on the baseball side, Vermilion's Mason Montgomery. He's a terrific baseball player. In fact, he's already signed a full ride. He's going to Bowling Green to play shortstop for the Falcons, but still on Jeff Keck's club this year. And Mason Montgomery this past week, a big week for the Sailors. He pitched a 2-hit complete game shutout over Mansfield Madison 4-0, and he also had 7 hits during the week, and he had a .538 batting average. So a big week for Mason Montgomery. So baseball-wise, 3 top performances: Noah France of Elyria, Avery Cruz of Clearview, and Mason Montgomery of Vermilion. Congratulations to those 3 guys.
Yeah, great performances all around. Like I said, it's nice to spread the wealth around. We had 6 different schools
That's cool.
shown there, so that's what we like to see. Everybody's kind of getting it done in Lorraine County.
As we mentioned at the outset, we have our First Federal Savings of Lorraine Teams of the Week. So we like to recognize a couple of teams for their performances. So First Federal Savings of Lorraine Teams of the Week. We'll start on the softball side.
Yeah, kind of a slam dunk for the softball side because, like as we said, the rain kind of decimated the schedule this week. I think most teams got in maybe 1 or 2. Most of the teams that played in the previous got 2 games in. Some teams only got 1. Some teams got none. North Ridgeville played 5 games this week.
Wow.
They had that turf field that helps, obviously,
Yep.
but played 5 games, won them all. So 5-0 week for North Ridgeville, great week. So that was nice for them. Won 3 Southwestern Conference games over Berea Mid-Park, Olmsted Falls, and Avon Lake, 3 tough opponents, and then swept a non-conference doubleheader against Oberlin. 3 of their 5 wins were shutouts, and they outscored their opponents 31-5 this week.
Great week for North Ridgeville. That's a big week.
Yeah,
They have a young freshman pitcher, correct?
Yeah, Katie Barnhart, fantastic pitcher. I got to cover her several times this week, or not this week, but this season, and she does it both in the pitcher circle and at the plate. She's a great two-way player, and I think teams are I already had coaches already kind of putting comments in about the headaches they're worried about over the next 3 years having to deal with her. So
That's awesome. All right, congratulations to North Ridgeville. And the first Federal Savings of Lorraine baseball team of the week, Avon. Now, huge rivalry here in Lorain County, Avon and Midview. It doesn't matter. Football, wrestling, basketball, Middies and Eagles, it's always a great battle, and they squared off in a Southwestern game last week. Midview was winning that game 9-1, and Avon came back from a 9-1 deficit. They rallied late, showed a lot of perseverance and a lot of intestinal fortitude, scored 4 runs in their last at bat in the bottom of the 6th to take a 10-9 lead, and then hang on for the 10-9 win as they were able to retire Midview in the top of the 7th. So great rivalry game. Avon kind of having that up and down season. When you're losing 9-1, and I'm sure the weather wasn't all that great, they could have said, let's just go home. To show that kind of fortitude, to come back from a 9-1 deficit and winning in your last at bat, that's a cool thing. To me, that's deserving of the team of the week. So congratulations goes out to Avon, first Federal Savings of Lorraine team of the week. Great performance.
yeah, those games are exciting to watch. Whenever you see somebody down big and you start to see that momentum shift and you see the rally as it's going, you just can't help to root for them. Even if you're just like sitting on the side and you're like watching, and it's like it's exciting. It's a lot of fun.
Boy. Well, speaking of exciting and a lot of fun, if you're a softball fan and you have not yet got to a diamond to watch Keystone Sydney Campbell pitch, then you're missing out, because it's exciting and it's a lot of fun, and I know you had a chance to talk with her for the Get a Grip segment.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that I was able to find a way to get Sydney Campbell mentioned on the Diamond Chat, So
Yeah, first time her name's been mentioned.
But no, yeah, she's obviously having a great season. 3 perfect games thrown so far. She's the current county and state leader in consecutive wins. And I believe around 7 or 8 in the nation right now with 54 straight wins. Just a great performance. So she's going to show us one. And after one of the previous games, she kind of was talking to the opposing coach and mentioning the pitches she'd thrown. She has about 25 pitches that she throws. She was rattling them off. So she's going to show one of her multitude of pitches that she throws, and it's going to be the screwball. So just kind of watch for the movement. She loves to hit the corner. She was just like amazing with that the movement hitting that corner this weekend. So this will be one of those pitches where there's a lot of movement and how she kind of befuddles the opposing batters.
She's amazing. So let's take a look at Sydney Campbell throwing the screwball on Get a Grip.
I'm Sydney Campbell from Keystone Softball, and my favorite pitch to throw is the screwball. So I hold it with the seams along my fingers, and all I really do is make sure I step to the left of my power line and really get my body behind the ball and spit it out my fingers and then pull at the end.
Yep.
How would you like to be Autumn McCord? You talked about before we showed the video, 20-something pitches that she has in her arsenal. How would you like to be Autumn McCord and have the opportunity to catch Sydney Campbell?
It would be cool, and the thing is, it would be hard because of the fact that she uses every bit of the plate. So sometimes that ball is like really moving around, but they have such a natural chemistry. Autumn said she's been catching Sydney since they were like 8-9 years old. So
Right.
she kind of it's like those knuckleball the catchers that have to do the knuckleballers in the major leagues and stuff, and that ball could just end up anywhere. But after a while, you just kind of know, and you kind of have a feel for it, and they just make such a great battery.
Boy, she is amazing. So congratulations to Sydney Campbell on all of her success and for working with John Bennett here on Get a Grip. All right, let's take a look at some of the young men and some young ladies that are doing very well on the baseball diamond and softball diamond, respectively. We'll start on the baseball side. Batting average-wise, Austin Urban of Firelands, boy, putting together a tremendous year. .575 at the plate for Dan Ransom's Firelands Falcon squad. RBI-wise, Kevin Mielwitz over at Keystone leads the county as we sit and tape this with 24. Another Keystone Wildcat, Kyler Yusko, leads the area in doubles. He has 10. Home runs, Leighton Banjoff of Elyria Catholic. He's got 4 dingers on the year. Stolen bases, another Keystone Wildcat, Nick Compton. 27 stolen bases on the year.
Got some speed.
Yeah, and pitching wins, Ridge Clark of Vermilion. We had this young man on Get a Grip, and we've talked about him as a top performer as well. He's a tremendous baseball player. Pitching wins, Ridge Clark for Vermilion has 6. And saves-wise, Carson Heidecker of Columbia with 3. And Kyle Dalzell, now he's another Get a Grip guy. ERA, how about 0.00? That's about as good as you can get.
Yeah, can't beat that.
And speaking of Ridge Clark, he also leads the area with 66 strikeouts. So he's really dominant on that hill.
Yeah, so some of the statistical leaders for softball at this point of the season. Batting, Kaylee Evans from Midview, 761, is leading the county in batting.
Wow.
Runs scored, Cassidy Kettleman, a freshman at Amherst, 31. RBIs, Macy Godbolt of Elyria, 35. Hits, Cassidy Kettleman and Kaylee Evans are tied, 35 hits apiece. Doubles, Autumn Accord from Keystone, 13. Home runs, Macy Godbolt of Elyria, 9. Stolen bases, Rachel Meese of North Ridgeville and Jennifer Bowie of Columbia both had 21. Pitching, Sydney Campbell, Keystone, 16-0.
Stunner.
Yep. ERA, Sydney Campbell of Keystone, 0.19. And strikeouts, Sydney Campbell of Keystone, 165.
The triple crown of softball pitching right there.
Yeah, so it's obviously good fitting that we had her on for Get a Grip so she could show how all those numbers came about.
That's amazing. Just amazing. All right, we're going to wrap up this segment of Diamond Chat. So again, we thank you for watching. And of course, Kristen Bauer behind the camera. We thank her. Sean, thanks to you. But we always close things out with a conversation with one of the area coaches, either on the softball side or the baseball side. So this week we talk baseball. Boy, Mason Montgomery at Vermilion, Ridge Clark at Vermilion, and their head coach is Jeff Keck. What a remarkable history and tradition he has built at Vermilion with that baseball program. So I had a chance to sit in the dugout with Vermilion head coach Jeff Keck, so we'll let you take a look at that now. So Coach Keck coming up next. But for Sean Bennett, I'm Tim Elkhorn. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody. It's time for our In the Dugout, and we're joined by Vermilion head coach Jeff Keck. And Jeff, you've had a long tenure here at Vermilion High School. How long have you been the head coach of the Sailors?
I've been here since 2002, so about 18 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been a real good experience for me, and I've been blessed with good players, good assistant coaches, and good group of parents year after year, and it's been a real good tenure for me. I've been real happy here.
So how'd you get started in coaching?
Well, many years ago, I graduated from Ashland. At that time, it was Ashland College in 1982, and I started coaching baseball and football at Firelands High School, and I was the baseball coach at Firelands for roughly 15 years, and that's how kind of I got my start. I had some good years at Firelands. I enjoyed those kids also, I've been really, like I said, I've been blessed with coaching at two quality schools with a bunch of quality people, and I'm very fortunate to have that happen for me.
Is there a real significant coaching influence on you?
A lot of my high school coaches were big influences on me, especially a couple of my high school football coaches, and I knew that's what I always wanted to do when I got out of college, and like I said, it's been a good experience for me.
So, of all your years, what's a big memory that really stands out as the high school baseball coach?
Well, I mean, there's been so many of them to just pinpoint one. Some of the, the years with Andy Oliver, that was exciting when Andy was going through his, all those scouts were here when he was gonna get drafted, and wound up having a career at Oklahoma State, and then playing in the majors for an amount of time. That was a pretty neat experience. And coaching him was pretty easy. I just had to be smart enough to put him out there every 5 days or so. Just been so many great players, so many good groups of kids. I remember it's fun for me because in the spring when the kids graduate, just celebrating graduation with them, with their families, and just the memories you have and the relationships you build with all the parents and the players, and it's been good for me. It's been a good experience for me.
Well, congratulations on a great career, and obviously we wish you nothing but the best as you move ahead here in Vermilion.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. This has been this edition of In the Dugout with Vermilion head coach Jeff Keck.